Hi everyone, hope everyone is having a good day. If you don't already know me, my name is Cyril Garag. I'm a licensed real estate broker in the state of California. I'm the broker owner of Good Neighbor Realty. Over the next couple of weeks, what I'll be doing is I'll be doing a series of videos covering different topics dealing with real estate transactions. When a property goes under contract, there are a litany of things to get done. The majority of those tasks are actually going to fall on the buyer. Yes, there are also activities the seller has to perform, but I'll be producing a separate video on that at a later time. So for this particular video, I'll be focusing on the buyer. Without a qualified buyer, the property cannot move forward and actually materialize into a valid real estate contract. Once the property is under contract, it means the seller and buyer have agreed in principle to numerous elements within that residential purchase agreement. So they could be price, earnest money deposit, contingencies, the number of days needed to close escrow, which escrow or title company will be handling the transaction, and so on and so forth. The buyer has to be focused and really engaged once the seller has accepted their offer. The main event that immediately follows is to get those inspections scheduled and completed. The clock starts ticking from the date of acceptance. 17 days is the magic number in which the buyer has to complete all of its investigations or inspections. And this is going to include any holidays that could fall in between those 17 days. It could be Christmas or the 4th of July or Labor Day, but those all count. These are all calendar days and they're not business days. So keep that in mind. Don't forget. The buyer or buyers are free to obtain any and all inspections their heart desires. There's absolutely no limit. However, the cost of all these inspections are going to be paid by the buyers. I would get on the phone and start making appointments with the appropriate contractors or vendors to get them scheduled once the offer is accepted. Spring and summer are usually the busiest seasons for transactions. You may find some of these vendors may not be available for quite a few days. So in this case, you'll have to go to your backup. You'll have to contact other companies to meet your schedule. Once the inspection is actually completed, keep in mind it could take an additional 24 to 48 hours to generate and produce the report before it gets back to you. Make sure you account for this in your scheduling. If you receive the report on the 18th day, well, that's going to be too bad. The buyer has or had control of all these things at the very beginning. So what's the main reason buyers have to go through all these inspections? Essentially, the goal is to discover if there are any issues that may be of great concern to them. It could be a large expense either now or sometime down the road. Does the roof need replacement? Are there any leaks? Are there active termites and termite damage to the property? If Section 1 termite damage exists, it could range from a few $1,000s up to $10,000 to $15,000 or greater. Are there any issues with mold? What about asbestos or lead? There could be many other things on that list. Now, in some of the above inspections, you may discover that there could be several thousands of dollars of repairs. Now, you, as the buyer, can make a written request to have the seller fix some or all of them. Now, does the seller have any obligation? The answer is absolutely not. In fact, they don't even have to respond to your request. And that's perfectly legal and within their rights to do that. That's all spelled out in the residential purchase agreement if you wanted to get more details about that. After the buyers have had a chance to assess all this information with disclosures and inspections, contingencies, etc., the next question then is to ask, do we feel comfortable moving and proceeding forward? So everyone, this is precisely the main reason for the 17 days that you're given to do all these inspections. If you have any inkling at all or any reservations or any reluctance about proceeding with the purchase, I'd highly recommend you do this as early in the escrow process as possible rather than later. Notify your agent or broker immediately. It can get complicated really fast if this decision is made late in the escrow process. You could be risking your EMD, which is your earnest money deposit, if the correct procedures are not followed. There could still be contingencies to deal with, but as a general rule, just keep in mind, my motto is the earlier, the better. I'll address the issue of the National Hazards Report disclosure on a separate video, but this could be used as a powerful tool to use if you wanted to cancel the contract during the 17 days if you feel uncomfortable about any of the information on this particular disclosure. I'll address the issue of the National Hazards Report disclosure on a separate video, but this is a powerful tool to use if you wanted to cancel the contract during the 17 days if you feel uncomfortable about any of the information on this particular disclosure. Generally speaking, I can say that most people, when they make an offer on a property, they really love it and they want to own it. Buyers look forward to closing escrow and getting the keys to the house. However, there are situations that could arise and circumstances where that's not always the case. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to call me. In the event that I'm not representing you as my client, your respective brokers should be able to provide you with the same services. This concludes the first in a series of videos which I'll be producing at least once every week, if not more frequently. So thanks in advance for taking the time to listen. We'll talk to you soon.